Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Excited to be with you here today for our Fireside Chat. Just getting set up here and all the different venues, the YouTube live stream and such. Everybody here. Okay, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are tuning in from. We've got an exciting Fireside Chat here today, Friday, the very first day of April. So is it April Fool's Day today? If anybody tells you anything completely crazy, it might be an April Fool's joke. So anyway, excited to be with you here. April 1st, we're starting second quarter of this new year, second quarter of the new year. That's exciting as well. And we are streaming on YouTube, and we're doing Facebook Live. And of course, we're here together on Zoom as well. Again, for those of you that are new or just joining for the very first time, we do this Fireside Chat every Friday at this time, 11 a.m., Pacific time. Which is 1 o'clock Central Time, 7 p.m. in the UK. And so depending on where you are in the world, you can make your adjustment. I think you'll find great benefit. We have had some really, really exciting Fireside Chats. And all of these Fireside Chats are recorded and they are posted on my YouTube channel. And on Fridays, we do stream also here on Facebook. So, I save that to my Facebook wall. You can share that. And by the way, guys, if you haven't been to my YouTube channel, Google me or not Google me, put it in the search bar on YouTube, subscribe to my page, like my page, share my page. There's probably, several hundred videos, training videos, Fireside Chat videos, all kinds of, tips and information on there that you can, use as a resource. You can use to, if something really resonates with you, it'll resonate with someone else that you can use and share with someone else. And of course, we do these Fireside Chats every Friday. And so I'm excited about that as well. We've talked about the importance of being a promoter and what that really means. We've talked about assignments and how important assignments are, and really identifying, where someone is in their, seriousness about what they really want and their actions. Do they really meet what they want to do, and how serious is everybody to really help you spend time with the right people, and even take that personal checkup yourself. And so we've talked about a lot of really great subjects, and today I believe is going to be another one. I'm not exactly sure what to title this. We titled it Emotional Intelligence. It really has to do with mindset and attitude. And at the end of the day, what it really means is how we interact with other people, right? The way others are going to perceive us. I think that's what, because it is said in Napoleon Hill, in his book, Think and Grow Rich, he said, the one's ability to control their emotions and how they interact with others is one of the major keys to one's success, right? And, over my years, 33 years in this industry, I've, struggled in areas of this myself, where something would happen and you let your emotions get the best of you and you say something you shouldn't say, and it's hard to take back words. You do something you shouldn't do, and you'd wish you to slow down and thought about it for a moment. Matter of fact, there's a lady by the name of Mel Robinson, Mel Robinson. And she's got, best-selling book. She's an unbelievable speaker and trainer, personal development person. She's done TED Talks and the like. And she talks about this 5-second rule, right? That before you react, to count to 5, right? Because I think part of, this whole concept that we're going to discuss here today of emotional intelligence, it's really the ability to control one's emotions. and our emotions and how we interact with other people, right? I talk about it even in my small steps. I talk about, everything matters. Well, this matters too. The way we interact and react to everything is going to, leave an impression. It's how we communicate, how we're perceived. If somebody thinks we're rational or irrational or we're stable or emotional or whatever. So all of these things matter. So we have to be conscious of it. And it's one of the things that we talk about. Also, we talk about mindset and the conscious mind and the subconscious mind, and how we have to be conscious about what we're thinking about, because our conscious mind is feeding our subconscious, and our subconscious doesn't know right from wrong, good from bad, positive from negative. It only knows what our conscious mind feeds it. And so if we are, thinking about the wrong things, we're manifesting those wrong things because we're feeding our subconscious, and our subconscious goes to work on it. And so all of these things matter. And I think, we're showing up here on every Friday because we want to be better. We want to do better. We want to impact and help people. And so the way we interact, again, coming back to this topic of emotional intelligence, it all makes a difference, right? So, Jim Rohn, he talks about, what happens to us all. It's all in what we do about what happens. Two people, identical circumstances, different decision, different interaction of what we, do about the situation, a completely different outcome. It can be as simple as someone saying something that stirs some emotions within us. And we, you get that hair standing up in the back of your neck and you want to lash out, you want to react, right? And then coming back to Mel Robbins' concept about the 5-second rule of just slow down for a moment and control your emotions. Because again, Napoleon Hill talks about it. The ability to control your emotions is a major key to one's, success. I mean, we know this. We've maybe struggled. We've done things, said things, reacted to things that we wish we would have thought through, or wish we would have taken a moment, and let ourselves, cool down a minute before we go and react, to someone else. And so again, things are happening to us every single day. We have interaction with people every single day, and it's all in how we react and the ability to control the way we react. I mean, you can be steaming on the inside, but you don't have to show that on the outside, right? Because again, it's the way that you're communicating. And so I wrote some notes down, and so the one note, and we've already kind of discussed this, is, think before you speak, right? Think before you speak, because it's hard to pull things back. And, so the way that we react to any situation has a great deal to do with our emotional intelligence, our ability to have the discipline to control it. And not react, not lash out, not get spiteful or do things, because that's also, all things that we can get all caught up in our ego and, want to, prove something, or, I'll show you type. I mean, these are all weaknesses within our emotional intelligence, right? The ability to let things go, not let it fester and build. And because again, we cannot control what other people do. We cannot control, things around us. The only thing we can control is the way that we react or interact about whatever it is that's going on. So the ability to have the discipline, to slow down, to think before you speak, and how are you really going to be going to react? So another area, and again, I was listening to some Napoleon Hill this morning, listening, to some, some various things over the week as I've been hiking. And another thing about successful people is they don't engage in controversy that is not important, right? I mean, it's said right in Napoleon Hill's book, Think and Grow Rich. I'm listening to the set. Napoleon Hill revisited, and this is one of the things they're talking about, is emotional intelligence, the way that we react or interact, to other people. And it said in there that one of the things is the ability not to engage in controversy that doesn't matter, that doesn't mean anything, because all you do is stir the pot. I mean, I think even over my years, right? And things will happen, right? And you have that you have that instinct, that reaction that you want to lash out or you want to, react. And, in some cases I've done that. And when you do that, it escalates the situation, right? I mean, I think back to, when I, left the previous company that I was with, there were people out there saying some things that were not true, saying some things to, and my assistant, Peter, which I think is actually on, the Zoom here today. And he's like, we gotta respond. And I'm like, Peter, if we respond, all we're going to do is escalate the situation. If we just let it go, it's going to disappear. If you give it attention, you escalate the situation. So the ability to have that discipline to realize, is this going to help the situation? Or what am I doing? Is it self-serving? I'm just trying to make myself feel better, because what typically happens is it just gets worse if you engage in some of these types of things. So the ability to think before you speak, the ability to calm yourself down, don't react on that instinct, because likely is you're going to regret it. You're going to regret it. Don't engage in conflict that doesn't matter. And this is another area. Again, if you're in the business of sales, if you're in the business of working with other people, right? And again, everybody has their own set of beliefs, and many times, not many times, those beliefs are really created or they come from our experiences. They come from our upbringing. They come from what we've, our life and the people around us. And so those beliefs are forged that way. And so there can be conflicting beliefs. There can be conflicting truths, right? Because people react not according to the truth, maybe as it really is, but according to the truth as they perceive it or believe it to be. And there can be conflicting truths and conflicting beliefs. So having that understanding, let's say that understanding, and then asking yourself, is it really worth it? Is it worth it to engage, or is it just easier just to move forward without trying to prove a point, or get involved or engage in something that at the end of the day is not a good use of your time, is creating controversy that is not needed, and escalates the situation versus just let it go. I mean, the ability, I think when you think about emotional intelligence, the ability to let it go, the ability to let something go. Because here's the thing, whatever it is that's happened, and I've talked about this multiple times, and I title it responsibility, right? The responsibility. And I've got some notes from one of my PowerPoints here, and I'm just going to talk about this, because the ability to take responsibility, because what happens is life isn't fair, right? I mean, there are things happening in this world around us, in life, in every element out there that are crazy, that are not fair, right? And the thing is, we can't do anything about it, right? Now we can dwell on it. We can drive ourselves into a ditch, because because if you get all caught up in something that isn't fair, and you just you can't move past it. What is that helping you? No, it's not helping you. It is driving you. It's paralyzing you. It's not healthy. It's affecting your attitude. It's driving you into the ditch, and you simply can't move forward. If you can't get it, so here it is. Comes back to this: whatever happens to us all. It's how we react to what happens. Something happens that isn't fair. We can be upset for the moment. Again, control that and try not to react, but think it through, right? Is this really going to benefit me, or is it just going to escalate or make the situation worse? It happened. Now it's all in what we do about it, because you're not going to, it happened. So you can't do anything about what's happened. You can only do about how you're going to deal with it, right? And how we deal with it is that emotional intelligence. It completely determines the outcome. So, because if you go around thinking, life should be fair, you're going to be upset your entire life, because there is things happening every day in this world that we disagree with, that is unfair, and it's all, again, how we react to it. Things happen that shouldn't happen, right? And if you go around dwelling on it, well, you just can't move forward. That's not helping you. It's paralyzing you, and it's driving you into the ditch. This shouldn't have happened, but reality is it happened. Now, how am I going to be able to move forward, learn from this, right? You always want to learn from it. Or things aren't perfect. I was talking to someone earlier last week, actually, and somebody I've known forever, and just has a tendency, to get excited about things, and then something happens that shouldn't happen. Something happens that isn't fair, or something isn't perfect. Nothing is perfect. Again, if you go around thinking everything should be perfect, you're going to be disappointed your whole life. So it's a matter of just, being conscious of these things. How you're going to react with them is very important. So religion, right? Again, everybody has their own set of beliefs in religion. Politics are the same thing. I just avoid. Those are subjects that you just avoid unless I'll talk about politics. I'll engage in these when I know the person is on the same page, because arguing with them does you or no one else any good, right? I have, even over, the political environment that's going on right now, over the last several years, it's so divided our country. And I'm not going to engage in it. Now, if I'm with somebody that I know is of the same opinion, we can have our conversation, and it's fine. It's invigorating or exciting. But to engage in a conversation with somebody with the opposite view and argue about stuff that you have zero control over, that makes no sense. All you're doing is driving people away, because the way you react, interact, or respond to things is going to determine if that person likes you or doesn't like you, if you make them feel good or you upset them, right? And so all these things, are important. The ability to be flexible, right? That's another area that Napoleon Hill talks about as far as being successful is to be flexible. Yes, you have to you have to be committed to your beliefs and all that, but again, evaluating if you feel like you need to impress upon it on someone else, or just let it go because it's not important. So the ability to be flexible about the situations and adapt, again, because we cannot control what other people. Here's another area that we need discipline in, is offering advice when it's not wanted. When somebody asks you, what do you think, what would you do, they're asking you. But when you offer advice, when someone's not asking you, that's not something that people want. It irritates them. And it escalates the situation. So we may think we know, but if it's not asked, keep it to yourself. So that's, again, an area of discipline, is the ability to keep your opinion about whatever it is to yourself, unless someone asks, what do you think? What would you do? What do you think I should do here? Then it's solicited. Now they're asking you for that, but to offer it without someone asking you. And again, this is an area we all can make a mistake, and mess up on. This is giving other people. This is another area of I think, big time discipline in the way you react, is letting other people affect your state of mind. Letting other people affect your state of mind. And again, because you're giving them permission to do that, or you're allowing that to happen, right? You're allowing other people to affect your mental state, your attitude. Again, having the discipline to put this stuff aside and control all this stuff is going to lead you to much higher levels of success and interaction, especially when we're dealing with people, right? And most everything we do in life to move forward in life requires the ability to communicate, interact with others. And so your emotional intelligence in all these areas is a big deal. Having patience, not getting defensive about things, it's being being conscious, being empathetic, all these types of things are, I think, key. So, when it was suggested to me to have this as our topic, emotional intelligence, I kind of said, I don't know if I like that word. Let's use mindset. It's all kind of tied together. And as I thought more about it, I thought, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and some of you may, be disagreeing with me on some of these things, about how you should react or interact, or, principles and different things that you should, you need to, stand up. Well, yes, you do. You need to stand up for yourself. You don't want to be a doormat. But in the same notion, you need to ask yourself, is this going to benefit me? Or am I just trying to feed my ego or my arrogance or whatever to satisfy myself or to prove a point that doesn't really matter, right? I mean, what someone else's opinion about something is, it's not your opinion, it's their opinion. And if you're not going to change it, and even if you do try to change it, what does it really matter, right? So being smart about these types of things and really thinking through about what we say, how we react to what other people say, and if we're going to engage in some type of controversy when it's not needed. Right. All these things I think are really key, especially in the type of business that we're in. Okay. So I've been rambling here for 20 minutes. And as always, I want to take and get opinions, interaction. I'm asking you, right now I'm soliciting your opinion. So I'm welcoming your thoughts, your opinion. You can tell me, I think you're completely off base here, or, this makes sense to me, or I'm doing this, or I can think about examples when I have reacted and how it's escalated a situation or made the situation worse, or I've got all up in my head about something that I can't seem to get over and how it paralyzes you. So again, this is open format, and it's always to go into whatever it is that you want to talk about. So with that, I'm going to take a moment and we'll open it up and see if someone wants to contribute or participate here.
Hi, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Well, for me, actually, this it speaks very loud, because a few years ago, I had an experience with one of the lady colleagues that I used to work with. And someone actually mentioned to me that she'd said, I can't stand her. She's so pushy. And so, I guess I don't think about it too much, because I think that being or understanding what type of female you are, I consider myself, or I know that I am an alpha female. And so I normally don't follow patterns. I don't follow people unless I know that they got something to teach me. And so I move through life like I'm a train without brakes, right? Just plowing through. And I never stopped to think about how other people perceive me. And so when I heard this, I'm like, well, why does she say that I'm pushy? And then I realized the pattern, like you're saying. What I was doing a lot of is because I thought, well, I have a lot to teach and I want everybody to benefit from it. So I'm just offering advice to people, but they were not asking for it. And then I would get frustrated because they weren't doing what I was suggesting, so I was like, why do I waste my breath on this? So then I started analyzing that. And then I figured, I'm like, how can I better this? And then here we are now, and you just explained it so clearly. So now I know.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I mean, number one, your ability to recognize it. And, you're offering advice. This is what you said, offering advice when it's not asked. And then you're frustrated with them while they're not taking it. Yeah. And so that's fantastic. But, one of the things that what you said that, brought something up in my mind as another area here that we need to talk about is the one thing about emotional intelligence, the way people perceive you and the way you interact with people, and the way is to not engage in gossip. Okay. Because that will always come back to you. And this is another area misery loves company, and you can get involved in this, and I'm telling you, it's a slippery slope that will most likely always, you might be feeling you're befriending or connecting with that person, but when you engage in that, go ahead if they want to gossip and whatever, but you don't have to engage. You can go ahead and sit and listen to it, and in your mind have all kinds of things going on, but the ability to control it from saying it, right? The ability to control that, the ability to control what we say and how we react with others is a major discipline. So one of the other things, guys, and I've talked about this once before, there's, Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. There's a set of audios, and it's probably a book as well. And it's Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich revisited, discussing the 13 principles. One of the areas, because they get in deep in some areas, and I have listened to this multiple times, but chapter 5 on this audio set, it's titled A Pleasing Personality, Characteristics. And they said there's 30 different characteristics that make up a pleasing personality. And if people don't like you, you can change that. So they go over all of these things, about interrupting people, feeling like being over enthusiastic about things that don't need to be, that you shouldn't be enthusiastic, offering praise when it's not deserved. All of these, there's 30 different characteristics of a pleasing personality. And one of them was also offering advice when it's not solicited. Right. I mean, anyway, I'm listening to this, and I think some of them I've naturally just done, and it was just, who I am. But then I see other things that I do that I can, when it's explained that way, I say, oh, you know what, that does make sense. And I can see how people, might not like that. Right. So because your ability to influence others, people have to like you. And it's on how you interact and how you communicate and the influence that you have with them and the credibility you have with them. And it can be, look at what happened in the Oscars just this past Sunday, right? I mean, just an individual, Will Smith, who was really perceived as such of a, intelligent, unbelievable human being, one error in judgment created all this controversy, letting his emotions get the best of him, not controlling that emotion. And I promise you, if he could take that back, he would take that back, and he'd have sat there and smiled, it's a comedian up there. That's what comedians do. You may not like the joke. I mean, most jokes offend somebody, right? And if it happens to be you, your ability to control that is a big thing. So anybody else want to contribute or pop in here and give us their thoughts or opinion?
Hey, Laura, I like you. We know each other for a long time. One thing too, I'll say for people, if you disagree with John, I was at Loomerland a year ago, and John was there. And met him briefly, but I mostly watched him because I want to know who John was. And he really is a good, genuine person. And so it is something, when he says something, if I disagree with it, I sit back and go, okay, why don't I disagree with this? Is this something that I need to change in me? Besides he's got a fabulous haircut. But what else is there? I mean, because if you disagree with somebody who's more successful and has things you aspire to have, you need to have that conversation with yourself.
Yeah, that's fantastic. That makes me think of something else that was said in this, set of tapes I was listening to yesterday. And it's something I've heard multiple times. It makes perfect sense is, who do we listen to? Right. We're listening to, many times we're listening to people that have, you don't want to listen to people that don't have something if like you said, more successful or whatever, somebody that is less successful than you, probably not a good idea to, ask them what the life lessons are, unless you're looking for, someone, you're looking for things not to do. Right. Jim Rohn talks about that. Everybody can be used as an example. You know, in the Bible, they talk about that. There's this, this is what you should do. This is what you shouldn't do. If you're ever written up, make sure you're an example, not a warning, right? Of what not to do. But yeah, very, very, very important. Thank you. Anyone else want to jump in? Okay, guys, I'm going to kind of close out here. I'm just going to summarize again, this idea of having the discipline to control your emotions, the ability to control your emotions, the way you react versus, the way you react, the way you interact, controlling that, not engaging in conflicts that are not necessary. That just escalates the situation and makes you, it creates controversy and such. Being flexible. Here's another. I had this note. Here's what they, in this set of tapes, what they said. The four strongest emotions is love, hate, fear, and sex. Love, hate, fear, and sex. The four strongest emotions. And your ability to, control yourself, in those, hate, right? Fear, sex, all, love, the ability to be conscious and control your emotions around those things. So with that, everybody have a fantastic Friday. Hope that you got something out of this. Again, we are streaming here on Facebook. We're also on YouTube, and we're on Zoom here. We'll be back next Friday on, talking about another great topic. I'm not sure what it is yet. I'll get that out to you. And with that, have a fantastic weekend. Bye, everyone.
Thank you, John.